Okay, let's dive right into this explainer and unlock the secrets of what experts call dark observation. Today, we're decoding a really fascinating set of psychological techniques designed to help you see right through the social masks that people wear every single day. If you've ever had that gut feeling that someone just wasn't being entirely genuine with you, well, the tools we're going to unpack from our source material today will completely change how you interact with the world. So picture this. You're sitting in a room with 5 people. Maybe it's a mix of your friends, your boss, maybe a few complete strangers. Everyone's laughing, the vibe seems perfectly normal. But suddenly, you realize you can see exactly who is lying to you. You can spot the fake smile, you can actually sense who is shaking with hidden fear, and you can even identify who is secretly plotting against you. And honestly, the best part? You don't need any superpowers to do this. You just need to know what to look for. Because as our source material points out, most people are entirely blind to the reality sitting right in front of them. And that brings us to the foundational rule we're exploring today. This quote really captures it perfectly. People don't tell the truth, their body and reactions scream it. While words can so easily be manipulated to tell a lie, a person's involuntary physical reactions will always reveal their true intentions. You see, people usually only notice what others actively want to show them, but once you learn to read these silent screams, absolutely no mask can stay on for long. So where do we start? Well, we start with how people speak, using a highly effective and honestly somewhat dangerous tool called omission profiling. Most of us assume that to catch a liar, we need to focus heavily on the actual words coming out of their mouth. But dark observation flips this entirely on its head. The secret isn't in what they say, it's in what they intentionally skip over. Because when the human brain lies, it works overtime to fabricate a story, instinctively avoiding the very specific details where it fears getting caught. Let's look at a real-world example to make this crystal clear. Say you ask a friend, "Hey, where were you and Rohan last night? Your phone was off." And they immediately respond with, "Oh, I was out, it was raining, the car broke down, and my phone died. I was so stressed out." Okay, did you catch what's missing there? They gave you this long, elaborate excuse about the car and the phone, but they completely skipped saying Rohan's name. They literally ignored half of your question. That missing detail, that intentional omission, that is exactly where their biggest secret lies. And this brilliantly illustrates how you can actively test someone using what's called the two-question trick. You never want to just ask the question you're suspicious about right off the bat. Think of it more like setting a psychological trap. Step 1, ask a safe question that they have absolutely no reason to lie about. If they answer it instantly, no hesitation, boom, you've established their baseline for telling the truth. Then, step 2, you immediately hit them with the doubted question. If they suddenly start twisting facts, if they hesitate, or if they completely talk around the issue, their baseline behavior has shifted, and you know instantly that something is wrong. This exact same omission principle applies perfectly to alibis too. Notice how someone might eagerly detail their evening to you. They'll say, "Oh, at 5 p.m. I was here, at 6 p.m. I went there, by 7 and 8 p.m. this happened." They're giving you these meticulous hour-by-hour details. But then suddenly, they jump straight from 8 p.m. to midnight, claiming they just went home and fell asleep. Hang on a second. They just totally glossed over 3 entire hours of their evening. When you spot a glaring gap like that, here is exactly what you do. You look them dead in the eye, drop your voice to a really serious tone, and ask this exact question. Where did 9, 10, and 11 go? By confronting that specific omission head-on, a liar will instantly show a flash of sheer panic on their face. You've just exposed the exact time gap they were trying so hard to hide, and their brain simply wasn't prepared for you to catch it. Section 1. Spotting hidden micro-reactions, the body language of deception. Now, what's truly mind-blowing here is this specific time frame, less than 1 second. Look, every person in the world wears a mask. We tell ourselves, "I'm happy," or "I'm confident," but honestly, we're all terrible at lying forever. The human brain simply cannot maintain a fake emotion continuously. For a tiny fraction of a millisecond, literally less than 1 single second, that mask slips and the absolute true emotion bleeds right through. Most people completely miss this because they just aren't trained observers. But once you know to look for it, it changes the game completely. Let's say you just announced a huge promotion at work. Your coworker gives you this big smile and says, "Congratulations!" But if you're closely observing, you might catch a micro-reaction. For less than a second, their jawline visibly tightens or twitches, and their eyes slightly narrow. That tiny, almost invisible reaction, it's exposing their hidden anger, their resentment, or maybe jealousy, long before their brain has the chance to force that fake smile back onto their face. So these are the specific physical cues you really need to memorize. A sudden tightening or twitching of the jawline is a classic, uncontrollable physical response to anger or stress. The narrowing of the eyes for just a fraction of a second, that indicates suspicion or displeasure. Expert manipulators and really keen observers specifically watch for these fleeting expressions of anger that get immediately covered up by a quick, polite smile. It is literally the ultimate lie detector test, written right on a person's face.
Section 2. The sudden shock technique. Forcing the truth.
This technique is wild. It's all about completely disrupting the brain's ability to maintain a lie. Imagine you're in the middle of a completely normal, casual conversation, and out of nowhere, you drop a shocking, highly personal statement like, "I know what you were doing that night." You don't yell it, you just say it casually. Now, imagine being on the receiving end of that. It's absolutely terrifying. This completely overloads their brain. They literally do not have the time to process the information, formulate a lie, and adjust their facial expressions all at the same time. So here is exactly how you execute this shock. Step 1, you deliver the statement. Step 2 is the most critical part. You must ruthlessly observe the very first micro-reaction on their face. Is it pure terror? Is it furious anger? Is it genuine surprise? Whatever flashes across their face in that initial fraction of a second is their absolute reality. And step 3, completely ignore whatever verbal excuse or nervous laughter comes tumbling out of their mouth a moment later. That is just their brain frantically recovering and trying to put the mask back on.
Section 3. Testing the good guy mask, the behavioral test.
Okay, so how do we unmask the type of person who pretends to be super innocent but really isn't? Try this brilliant behavioral experiment called the borrowed item test. If you notice someone is always really careful with their own things, lend them something of yours for a couple of days. A genuinely good person will treat your property with care and respect, but a wolf in sheep's clothing, someone who is only pretending to be good for social sympathy, they'll drop the act the second they are alone. They'll carelessly toss your item around and disrespect it because their respect for you is entirely fake. You're really looking for a cluster of behaviors here. If you combine that complete lack of respect for your borrowed property with a person who constantly craves sympathy and attention from the group, you've got a major red flag on your hands. Add in a tendency for them to pull people aside into corners to secretly talk trash about others, well, you've successfully unmasked a manipulator. They are playing a perfect character for the crowd, but they are acting entirely differently in the shadows. So, we've covered a lot. We've talked about omission profiling, the incredible power of those split-second micro-reactions, and behavioral testing. Take these tools of observation with you today. Look closely at the people around you, pay real attention to the details they casually leave out, and watch their faces in those split seconds. And I'll leave you with this to think about. Who in your life is wearing a mask right now, and what exactly are they hiding in their time gaps? Keep your eyes open.